in this question we have two positive numbers that have a difference of 4 and a product of 92. So let's just highlight the important pieces of information. So it is the fact you've got two positive numbers, they have a difference of 4 and a product of 92. We want to find their sum and express it as surd in its simplest form. So to start off with, we need to try and set up the equations. So we've got a difference of 4, so call the numbers x and y. X minus y will equal 4. And we know they have a product of 92, so x times y will equal 92. Now if I divide both sides of this equation by x, I get 92 over x. And therefore I can now replace this y here. Okay, it's always the same y. Y is equal to 92 over x. So I'm going to replace that y with 92 over x to get an equation with just x in it, which I can then solve. So the y is going to be 92 over x, and that's equal to 4. Now I have to times throughout by x, and I times every term by x. So I have a term here, a term here, and a term here, because terms are separated by minuses or pluses or equals. So we must times this by x to get x squared, and we must times this by x and we get 92. Times this by x, I get 4x. Now quadratics, to solve them, I get them all on the same side. So I get x squared minus 4x minus 92 equals 0. Now, when you've got questions which says find it as a surd in its simplest form, it's usually a good idea to try and complete the square. If you've got more than 1x squared, divide throughout and simplify. But we've only got 1x squared, so we can complete the square. So we get x, and we halve this number, remember, to go in the brackets. And I'm going to take this squared away. So I'm going to take 2 squared away, which is 4. And then I'm going to add this minus 92 on the end to get that. So I get x minus 2 all squared minus 96 equals 0. So x minus 2 squared will equal 96. So x minus 2 will equal plus or minus the square root of 96. So x will equal, add 2 to that side, 2 plus or minus the square root of 96. I want to simplify this, sir, to make life a little bit easier. So we can definitely, we know that both numbers will be positive. So this is not going to be minus root 96, because that's going to be at least as big as 9, which is bigger than 2. So it's going to be 2 plus 96. Let's just go over here and just factor tree out our 96. 2 times 48, 2 times 24, 2 times 12, and 2 times 6, and then 2 times 3. Now what you need to remember, everywhere you have a pair, you've got a square. So there's 2 times 2 is 2 squared, another pair there, 2 times 2 is another 2 squared, but we've got 2 times 3, which is 6, so it's not a pair. So we can now write this as simply as 2 times 2 is 2 squared, times by another 2 squared here, and then times by the last two numbers, 6. And if you take that out, let's just scroll down a bit. So square root of 2 squared times the square root of 2 squared times the square root of 6, and that's just 2 times 2. This is just 2 and this is just 2. So 2 times 2 is 4 root 6. And remember, we decided that x was going to be equal to 2 plus 4 root 6 as our answer. Now, have we answered the question? It says, find their sum and express it as a surd in its simplest form. So we now need to find y. Just going to rub this out and just make it a bit neater. So now I need to find y. Now x minus y equals 4. So therefore x will equal 4 plus y. So y must equal x minus 4. So that implies, this implies that y will equal, take 4 off this, take 4 off that, 2 minus 4 is minus 2, plus 4 root 6. Fortunately, 4 root 6 is bigger than minus 2, so therefore it's still going to be positive. and we want to add these two numbers together because we want to find the sum. Remember, the question asks us to find the sum, their sum, and express it as in its simplest form. So we've got 2 plus 4 root 6 for x, and then y. So y will equal minus 2 plus 4 root 6. So the 2's cancel, and we've got 4 root 6 plus 4 root 6, which gives us 8 lots of root 6 as our final answer.